Monday afternoon, everybody. Getting a little warm over here in the woods already. It's supposed to be on its way to about 82, 84 today. Pretty close to that right here now, about noontime. Got over here a few minutes ago. I didn't film anything coming in. I had a handful. I brought the pieces that were left over from making the teepee, and I'm going to use part of it for a ground cover in here tonight, and the rest of it's going to go for a permanent ground cover for the teepee once I get through. That's right. Here to do an overnight in the HoBo Shack. See how that goes. And do a card change out on the trail cam. Probably going to move it somewhere. Not sure just where yet. But well, I want to get camp set up and show you guys a couple of new pieces of gear I brought with me. Okay, can't see that one just yet. Anyway, I think they'll help out a bunch in here tonight. You guys stick around. Glad you came with me. I hope I can get a shot of this. I opened the teepee up, let her air out. She stretched a little bit, but we did have some 50-mile-an-hour gusts the other night. Place doesn't look too worse for the wear. We got some small stickage down everywhere, but not bad. And when I opened it up, let's see if I can sneak in here. There he is back there in the back. You see him running? There's a pair of them in here. There he is. And what was so funny, I don't know where the other one is. What was so funny is when I opened it up, they ran right over the top of my feet, not realizing the door was open right behind them. I think that vent worked out really good, guys. I really do. And it actually lets a little bit of light in, I noticed. Thought you guys might like to see my new house mouses. Didn't really expect them, but not completely surprised. I'll leave it open. Guys, I don't know whether you can see him laying down there or not. And I don't want to poke him. Ooh. Kind of gave me a little thrill when I opened up. Can you see he's back there? He's got his head all stuck up on the leaves. Oh, black snake. About 3 feet long. Was in there with me. There's one of them. A little surprise. More Adventure Ridge stuff. You see there? Yeah. They're advertising this as a pillow. It's about 15 inches square, 3 inches thick, self-inflating. You're supposed to be able to set your keister on there up to 175 pounds. I think it's going to make a better sitting pad than a pillow myself. But the other thing it does is circles around, and there's a zipper where you can make a tube out of it to put under your knees. I'm going to try using it like that for a pillow. The other piece is the air mattress that goes along with it, kind of. Adventure Ridge. And it's 74 inches long, 26 wide, and 2 inches thick. Self-inflating. I've took a couple of naps on it. My hips don't hit the floor. I kind of like that. We'll see tonight how it does out here. The R value on it, I have no idea. And it is rated to 240 pounds. Got both items there. 15 bucks for the sleeping pad. Around 16 with tax. And 6 bucks for the pillow. Seat and cushion. I think it's a better cushion myself. And I suppose you've noticed the tread wear kind of there on the air mattress. Supposed to keep you from sliding around on the sleeping bag. We'll see. Right there, I'm not too far off of being reasonably level. I hope it works out good tonight anyway. we're going to see. I don't have any more snakes in there. That was the only one I had, luckily enough. So I got just a little bit of breeze blowing, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Pretty quiet over here. Gonna go over and check out the fire pit. Brother Smoke walked up on us here a few minutes ago. We're gonna see what's underneath here. Haven't been over here, what has it been now, 2 weeks I guess? And we should still have a little bit of firewood. And we got a whole bunch of ants. That's to be expected. Oh, look at there. We got a cockroach. And we got a friendly little toad frog. I think I had 1 or 2 last year. Just kind of hanging around over here. I'm not going to dig another fire pit. Just gonna use this one tonight. May get here and mess around with the teepee a little bit. Do a little floor cut maybe. And I believe I'm about set up. Thanks for coming, guys. All kind of new critters here in the woods. Yeah, we decided to my camp all set up. Go ahead and walk this way. Get over to the trail cam before too late this afternoon. Things didn't get too worse for the wear down here. I'm going to be real surprised if that trail cam doesn't have anything on it. Says nobody's been over here. Smoke hadn't been in, and I hadn't been in since I changed the trail cam. And they've been wearing it out, and he just got a face full of spider webs. Gotta love that. I'm second in line. No more fiddles around here, folks. They've gone into full-fledged ferns. And we over here. I didn't bring no treats with me. I left them at the house. But I do have a fresh card for the camera. Hopefully, with the trails being loaded up around here like they are, this thing's got some pictures this time. Yeah, let's see. Card says 91 pictures on it. I don't know. I didn't close it up yet. We're gonna hang around here for a minute. Just kind of looking around, thinking about maybe pulling off a camp over here. You never know. You never know. It is a real nice spot, but it's kind of like the rest of the woods are right now. If there's not a lot of wind blowing, you ain't gonna get none down here in the bottom. Yep, there's a skeeter on my ear. I sprayed myself good though. Sprayed some of that stuff on smoke. And we're not getting eat up. There's skeeters in the woods. We'll get back on the trail here in a few minutes. I always like to give it a little check before I leave. Oop, little red lights on. That should be us. Batteries are doing good in that. Can't complain, taking good pictures. Brother Smoke's gonna walk on out. Said he might come back after a while. And let's head on back over to the hideout. Critters are keeping this path well worn. We'll say that for them. Saw this little tree on the way over. We just lost it the other night with the wind. Got along with a few tops. You can kind of see one of them there. Probably came out of this. Looks like she's been going down for a while. Kind of hollow looking, huh? It's split right out. That's a nice little walk over there and back. don't know if any pictures are going to be worth looking at or not. There's 91 pictures on the card this time, so I left the camera there. I just kind of scanned through them. Most of them are daylight pictures. Out of the bunch, there's probably a dozen taken at night. And the camera doesn't have very good resolution at night. But I'll go through them and check them out and see what's up. I think right now I'm just going to kind of mill about and pick up a few sticks. We got quite a few down. Give me a little pile together to get some fire going here after a while. Maybe sooner than later. There's a lot of bugs coming around. I'm not being bit, but I'm being aggravated. You guys know what that's like. There's one right there in my face. I'm going to put a little more foo-foo juice with the peppermint on me. Pick me up some firewood for tonight. I had this one piece left over from cutting out the teepee. That's what I was telling you guys. Kind of wanted to make a little front porch out of. I didn't have to cut it. Oddly enough, it kind of fit right there. A little bit of pulling, a little bit of tucking, and I used some staples. But it's there. We're not going to be moving this one around anyway. It'll do a little good, I guess. Overall, kind of adds to the picture. And no, I ain't forgot about the screen door, guys. I got the material at the house. I just wanted to make sure that all of this got stretched out plenty good. And I'll deal with a big chunk of that for the ground cover. What do you think? I got me a few little sticks of firewood gathered up. Still some more laying around here I'm going to walk out and get, but tonight's going to be the first night since I started camping this time around after my motorcycle accident that I haven't started a fire with a cotton ball or some dryer lint, a little bit of knot water one time. Cheesehead Chris wants everybody to get out and kind of start a fire like you did when you were a kid out camping. And the first thing that came to mind for me was I was about 13 years old, and I wandered off back in the woods next to a creek, and I found a little outcrop and a rock that I could build me a fort on. Got an old piece of a wagon sheet. You guys been around farmers, you know what that is, the old 10 mil plastic stuff they cover up tobacco and other pieces of stuff with. Got me an old piece of that from the barn and built me a little rock fort. It was pretty good till it rained real hard the first time, and then I got about a 30-gallon balloon hanging in the middle of it. But I'm going to take a little walk here. I'll take you guys with me to get some of the stuff that I started to fire with way back then. And we'll see if it works tonight. It's been pretty wet. A little bit of wood I got up there, it's kind of damp feeling, but I'm going to grab some cedar. It's been off the ground down here, and I think I shouldn't have a problem getting the fire going. So we'll walk over here to this open field for a couple minutes. You guys come along with me. And way back then, I didn't have a ferrule rod, no kind of striker at all, no kind of flint and steel. I was aware of such critters from my Cub Scout days back in the 60s. Oop, I said that, didn't I? So when I get up here at the edge of this field, we'll see if I can't get some of the tinder I used back then. I suppose by now most of you guys can probably see what I'm coming after. Pretty good sized field of it here. Broom sage, dry grass, wild grass. Oh, look, won't be long we'll have some blackberries right there if the critters don't get them first, which they probably will. I'm going to step out in here, Get me a couple of handfuls of this stuff, even though it's been raining pretty good here lately. Nice and dry. See if we can't get a fire going with it later. Plenty of it out here. Hope I don't need that much. Not real sure, but might be able to get a fire going with that. And something I couldn't see is this down piece of cedar right here. It's been broke off for a while, but it's still alive. Didn't do that little pine tree no good. But I want to get some of the green cedar boughs and put them in the TP and in my HoBo Shack before I leave this time. Just to keep some of the bugs out. I know the mice and apparently that snake. I tried to direct him over in the right direction. He was in the wrong cabin. He had gone over there to the teepee. He could have got him a nice mouse dinner. And if he'd have just gone by the fire pit on the way, he could have had a frog snack. That 14 by 18 tarp allowed me to get that piece. And a decent ground cover. I won't show you everything I got wadded up right there. The piece that's wadded up right there is eventually going to go in between those two right there, and that's where we're going to store a little bit of wood. Yeah, I got things cleaned up. Little frog went on about his way, and I'm ready to make a fire. Not being aggravated bad by the mosquitoes, but they're here. Enough to let you know they're here anyway. Flag hanging straight down. No breeze at all right now. I've just been sitting here nice and quiet. Kind of listening to everything. Got all my stuff set up. I brought the Napier Sports 40-degree bag. It's the one that I kept stored for too long, and now it's a pretty good 50-degree bag, and it's only supposed to get down in the 60s tonight, so I may not even wrap up with it till later on. Right now that one says 76 degrees over here, and there's just no real breeze at all. But it doesn't feel bad, you know. I thought the bugs would be bothering me worse than they are. I've had a few mosquitoes buzzing on me, and I got one tick off of me. I think he come out of a tree. I was over there by the teepee, and 1 second he wasn't, and then he was on my arm. He looked confused, though. I don't know if citronella does anything much for those guys, or the peppermint. You know, the peppermint stuff's more for the crawly creatures, the spiders. Speaking of which, I had a wolf spider, leg to leg, about the size of a silver dollar. He left. He left. He was quite voluntary. Just about like that little black snake, you know. I wasn't crawled all the way back in there. I was moving my ground cover out with a stick. And when I pushed back in that far corner over there, here he came. I didn't see him laying over there at all. He was kind of, well, that thing was kind of full of leaves anyway, you know, and I didn't bother to get him out. He came out in a hurry. If I'd have been in there on all fours now, I might have squealed like a little girl, but I came out of it pretty good, trying to get a hold of the camera so I could get him on shot. He came out and went around there, took off. Yeah, 15, 20 minutes ago, I think. They had some turkeys over there. I haven't heard them in a few minutes. Not too bad over here today. Not too bad at all. I think this is pretty much like tent camping for me, you know. Put the bug net up, and you got a zipper to get in and out of. Of course, you're not completely closed off there. You can have a critter or two, but I looked around in there and I didn't see any more spiders, or I had a few ants over here in this front corner, but they're gone. A little persuasion with the peppermint and citronella for them too. Hope you don't think it's cruel, but I just kind of wet them down and they picked up and moved. I think it's going to be pretty comfy over here tonight. Really do. I think it's probably somewhere around 4:30. Maybe. I don't know. But I do think maybe it's time just about to get the fire going over there. Go ahead and light that off and just let it smolder. A lot of that kindling that I left over here is kind of damp feeling. Got some pretty good dry sticks of cedar though. Let me get over there and maybe strike that thing up. What do you think? Oh yeah, in case you see one of these later, not what you think it is, and it ain't not water. I fixed me up some green tea. I salvaged these from the party we went to the other night, graduation party for my oldest grandson. Caleb, boy, we're all proud of you. We really are. Think you're going to do good. Later on, I am going to have a little shot of hot water and probably bring the boy up again. You've already met Josh, boy with the motorcycle. And we have Alyssa also. She's doing good. She's got her first summer job. She's a lifeguard at the swimming pools this year. Okay, now that I rambled a little bit there, maybe freaked you out, not what you think it is, I'm going to light a fire. This one first. I wanted to get the fire going a little early anyway. Try to cook before it gets plumb dark tonight. I haven't done that in a while. Don't know that it's going to happen tonight, but I'm going to try. Because I didn't go get any lighter fluid for any of my old Zippos. Don't have matches. Something I neglect to carry most of the time. But I always got a couple of lighters. So with that, I guess we'll see if this will go up in flames. Some of that kindling's pretty wet. But as you can see, that grass is pretty dry. Goes up pretty quick though. I just hope that cedar's dry enough I got stacked in there to catch up on that bird's nest I made. Got a few more little twigs laying here. Every little bit helps. All the hardwood that's around here right now is just a little bit too wet to go up. I did find a couple of pieces, but you hear them old motorcycles. There we go. That's some of the smoke I need right now to make sure all these little critters go on away. I don't know whether these pieces here are going to burn tonight or not. That big old piece back there, it's dry. It may catch up. I don't know. It'll just keep smoking like that for a little bit. I'll be alright. I don't know if you guys could hear my little owl. Sounds like the smaller one of the two. There he is. Same fire, no second takes. Oh yeah, that cedar's going to get busy popping here, I'm sure. Yeah, I hope that little bit of maple there, not real good wood, probably down last year. Hope his big brother comes around tonight. It'll be good. Now that piece of maple laying up there, I kind of threw it up there to see what it'd do. It's been laying around the camp here for 6 months. We didn't have all that bad a winter. Not bad enough. The trees never dropped the sap all the way. As you can probably see, that one's sitting there sizzling nicely. I hope that chunk of walnut there in front picks up. I didn't bring an axe with me. Can't split it, so it'll just have to do what it does. Could have used a little bit more smoke off of that one. Still see a few bugs drifting around. It'll help. Just the heat off of it will do some good. Yeah, I know. Let's throw some more of this wet cedar up there. That ought to get a little smoke going, don't you think? Once them sticks on top fell down in. A nice little opening right there for it to draw from. It really took off. I believe my thermometer over there at 76 degrees, and I believe if I set it right here where I'm at, it'd be about 95 degrees. I don't believe that sap boiling out of there is a good sign that's burning very well. One piece on top seems to be catching, and that big old piece of white oak is still laying back there from, what, 2 camps ago? Excuse me. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. It's getting a bit warmer. Got plenty of fire going there. I'm going to fix me a pork chop and some dressing tonight. Got pretty quiet over here. Haven't heard my owl buddy again. It does feel kind of odd though, folks. Over here with that as my shelter. And no tarp. No hammock. No tent. Feels kind of odd. I stretched out in there. Mat feels good. Pillow I think is going to work just fine. Kind of bunked up against my backpack. See as the night goes on about that one. Just getting a fire going to cook with turned into sitting here watching the fire. Got a little smoky thing going there and took a smoke bath. Hadn't been bothered by bugs yet. See how that goes as the night turns out. But I am going to get to cooking here in just a few minutes. I am getting a bit hungry. Probably got another hour and a half of light. Never did see another deer. Heard the turkeys again though. Maybe they'll come through later. Well, let me get all my fixings out and we'll get to fixing dinner. I don't usually bring this bag here. It is a decent little day pack, haversack. Right now I'm using it for the galley. It's definitely nothing fancy. Yeah. Got a decent sized pocket on this side. I really don't got much in there. My spoon, Swiss Army knife. And I had that pack of jerky in there. Had me a little snack. That's all I had in that one. But it is a 20-ounce water bottle. Will fit in there. plus other stuff if you want to. These little pockets are not too user friendly because the bottom opens too much. Oh, that's my hammock. Anyway, I got some stuffing in there. This side here, got a pack of cocoa and salt and pepper. And somewhere down in there, yeah, there it is, a little pack of Mrs. Dash. That's for my chop tonight. I'll leave that out. And I've got a bottle of water over there. This is another bottle of water. I brought 3 of those to the woods with me this time. I don't need everything in this one. And I'm eventually going to get around to cooking in that. Pick something. All I need is this and a little bit of water. Take care of the dressing, and I'll put that and that in there. It's just kind of warm over there by the fire, and I didn't want to drag everything over there and then drag it back over here. So let me show you something else. Let me scoop that up. I hope I'm still in focus. I won a life towel, 33 by 66. It's the big one. From Luke and Susan at Outdoor Gear Review. And it has come in handy several times down at the lake. Out in the woods too, just wiping sweat. Works good for that. But today, I'm using it to help insulate. I hope it's doing a decent job. We'll see here in just a minute, because inside of it, I have 2 packs of bubble wrap. I put a little duct tape on that one just to give it some rigidity. And another bag the same size inside. And somewhere down in here, let's see, where did it go? There it is. There's me a pork chop. And it's still cool. Actually nice and cool. Down at the very bottom, I've got a bottle of water. The rest of the stuff in there is for my breakfast. I'll roll this back down. I thought about putting it in a dry bag, but I really didn't see that to be necessary. There's a little bit of moisture in there, some condensation. I expected some. Not bad though. It's really not wet to the touch. Before I put that back in there, reach down in here. Same compartment. It's only got one main compartment. Yeah. A little skillet and some wipes. So I think between what I dug out of there, chop in there, I'll need this. I think I've just about got enough to make me some dinner. That'll never stay there, will it? Let me get to cooking. I almost set myself up for failure there. I was trying to cook from that side, and I conveniently left a nice open channel there to help keep my pot warm. About singed every hair off my arm. Got a little Mrs. Dash on both sides. A little salt and pepper. Gonna let that one cook slow. That's close to 3/4 of an inch of pork chop there. And I can see some little bubbles in my water. That's getting just about right. Oh yeah, I put just a little tab of butter in there with the water for my dressing. Now that's a good looking pork chop and some dressing. Put a little bit of water on there to get hot to wash up with. Put a couple more sticks on the back of the fire. Keep it going. And kind of bug free actually. Feels good. It's rather warm right here, but it feels good. So I think I'm going to pay my attention to this right here, and I'll get back to you guys in a little while. Smells good. What do you think about this? It's still daylight and I'm through eating and cleaned up, sitting by a fire. 72 degrees. 7:30, 7:30-ish. That pork chop was good. Pretty sure that's going to hold me till morning. Before the day goes any further on, there's 3 gentlemen out there I want to say a special thanks to. Gentleman Channel Dark Matter, Grant Hubbard, and Sean from Hiking with Sean. I joined those guys in the chat the other night just to check in and say hey, and they threw me up for auction, and before I knew it I got 14 new subscribers. I really appreciate that, guys. I really do. Brings me up to 428, I think. I appreciate all of you guys. So does Mr. Crow. So with that in mind, I'd like to do a little toast tonight. While the sun's still out almost. Thank you guys, I do appreciate it. All my subscribers, I really do. You know, I'm a little behind on watching videos right now. Kind of had a busy couple of 3 weeks there. But I'll have a little time here coming up to catch up on everybody. Thanks for joining me, guys. It's in the neighborhood of 140. Just a little hot. All the same, pretty tasty. For all you guys and gals out there maybe that's kind of been following my Hawaii stories, last time I believe I left off, it had just got there after a 19-day sail from San Diego. Things went well with the sail, of course. We got there on a Wednesday afternoon, pulled into the Texaco dock, and Jim and Lynn took off to see the harbor master, and I just kind of squared the boat away a little bit, gave it a little freshwater bath while we were sitting there next to a hose. When they came back, we had us a slip. Actually, we had most of a dock to ourselves. At that time, there was only 2 other boats tied up. But the following Friday night, I guess Lynn and I hadn't had enough of the sailing thing. We decided to go knock on the door of the Waikiki Yacht Club and see if they had anybody, any boats that needed a hand or two for the night. Fresh in from San Diego looking for a sail. And sure enough, you know what? They let us in. We didn't look too scruffy. You know, this was still kind of red even, and only about half as long. I got to sail that night on a FAR 42. You guys sailors out there know what it is, or you can look it up. You can Google it. A FAR 42. Very nice boat. The owner, however, was not so nice to his crew. He was a screamer, And that was one of the last things I needed after sailing peacefully from San Diego for 19 days. I didn't need somebody screaming at me. But through that night at the yacht club, I met a boat owner that needed a hand, needed somebody to do foredeck, and that was me. So for about the next close to a year, I done most every Friday night that I could be at the yacht club on Hagar the Horrible. And that, by the way, is a 28-foot hawk farm made in San Francisco. Nice sailing little boat. According to most of the ocean racers, a little bit of a pig, but fun on Friday nights. Had a whole lot of fun with that crew. And one of the boats that was in the same class, I met a gentleman that night that was looking for some help. Ran a small appliance outfit, installing small appliances, fixing refrigerators and stoves, air conditioners. I didn't gain too many skills out of that I didn't already have. The only thing I can maybe put to my credit on that one is I learned how to hang an air conditioner out of a 23-story window and not drop it. Well, that was a challenging day for us, but it stayed in the window. Well, at least till we left anyhow. Not sure after that. I worked with Richard for a pretty good while, and I got a chance to do some work on a sailing boat that was in the yard that paid good enough and gave me a place to stay. So I took that. Went to work on a boat named Momentum. It was a one-off 70-foot, 18-foot beam, about I think 14.5 foot of draft, fin keel. When all was said and done, over about an 8-month period, it was an extremely fast boat. I got to be at the helm of that boat one time. Most of the time I was up scrambling on the foredeck, putting up sails, taking down sails, changing sails. Doing what normal foredeck folks did in that day. Now it's a completely different story with the foiling catamarans. My goodness. I was in San Diego in '88 though, when Dennis Conner was doing his best to piss the whole world off, I think. He did the entire sailing community there for a while. There was a few of us with him. I couldn't help but like the spirit that he was going with. He stretched the rules to the max and got away with it. Now thinking about sailing tonight. Been a while for me, guys. I believe I'm going to have another little shot of hot water here and give a little salute to the sailing communities around the world. I got to meet some fine people. I got to sail on some fine boats. Once you get involved in it, if you like it, you enjoy it, you'll stay for a while. So, here's to all the sailors around the world. I wasn't sure, but I think I'm going to do another one. Being as it is Memorial Day, this is a day we're supposed to remember all the veterans. I think mostly about the fallen veterans through all the wars. Didn't make any difference. None was any better than the other for anybody. So to kind of make it short and sweet, everybody out there watching that's a veteran, thank you very much. Anybody that's watching on active duty, watch yourself. mostly just to all of you, be careful. Do your job. We all hope for the best. That is good. That's good. Well, I'm not going to sit here and ramble too much longer. Kind of just want to sit around and enjoy the woods tonight. It's fairly quiet. Birds still singing a little bit. A little snake buddy hadn't come back. I figured maybe he was looking for a warm spot tonight. Maybe he'd come over here. I got it all set so I can tuck in and everything. I'll show you guys a little bit more in the morning about what I've got over there. If anything exciting goes on, I'm not expecting any company, I'll bring you guys back. Otherwise, I hope everybody has a safe Memorial Weekend and get back to work. Good night, everybody. I wanted to do a little more recording this morning, however, my battery seemed fit to completely die last night. So I didn't get to do the breakfast I wanted to this morning, partly because it rained about, I don't know, just as the sun was kind of coming up. It started raining a little bit. We had just a little bit of wind, not much, not like it was the other day anyway. Excuse me. But I had a good time. You know, I slept good. I woke up a couple of times last night. Not sure why. It could have been the wind on and off. That little bit of rain really cooled it off this morning. It was 62 degrees at the camp. Actually felt pretty good. Really, really humid over there in the woods this morning though. I had a nice breakfast planned that I didn't get to pull off either. I had some applewood bacon, some hash browns, and biscuits were going to go on the fire this morning. But that little bit of rain took care of what little bit of fire I had left from last night. It was a good outing in the lean-to for the first time. HoBo Shack. The two new pieces of equipment worked out pretty good. The pillow seat cushion, it worked out pretty good for a pillow actually. I rolled it up and it worked good for me. I think I said yesterday, it's about 15 inches square, 3 inches thick, and I believe it weighs 5 ounces. There's really not much there. Comes in this nice little tote sack. Pretty decent. And the air mattress itself, you know, you really wouldn't want to pack this thing around a whole lot. It's a little over 3.5 pounds. And this is really the only conceivable size you can get it to. You can't get it any smaller than this. So car camping, very good. For me over at the hideout, it's not too much to pack in there. And if you weren't going far, it'd be a nice little item to have at night. Worked out really good for me last night. Didn't have any more snakes or spiders come in on me at all last night. I set up a couple of times, turned on the light, and the bugs were still around. Didn't really care because I was inside my little mosquito net. That worked out real well last night. Didn't have bug one on me at all. So gonna have to do another overnight there before too much longer. We'll see what the TP comes up with here before long too. I got a little trip possibly coming up down between the lakes here in the next week or so. We'll see how that turns out. If not, I'm definitely going to brush off the old kayak and get down to the lake and do a little fishing here in the next month at least before it really gets hot on us here. Glad you guys came along. Thanks for sticking around. Maybe I won't run out of battery next time. I've got to invest in a new one, get one that's a little bit better than the one that's in there. Yeah, it's like 6 years old, so can't complain that much. Once again, thanks everybody for coming along. And until next time, we're just waiting for the next big adventure. Oh yeah, I got some pictures to show you. Not too many, but a few. Hope you like them.